Nikola Tesla. Have you heard about that guy before? Maybe you watched a couple movies with him in it. Well, I'm not here to give a history lesson. Look up his bio yourself. There's a thing called Google. I'm sure you already heard about this company on your screen, Tesla Inc., ticker TSLA. But have you heard about a competitor called Nikola Corporation? If you're interested in learning more about Nikola, then click that like button. To get started, if you've been following along the journey of building my stock portfolio from zero to infinity, you already know one of my research techniques of finding the next best stock is by staying on top of trends offline, and in this case, online. Reddit forums, YouTube videos, and articles are starting to catch up on to the next big merger coming called Nikola Corporation. VTIQ stock, or VectoIQ Acquisition Corporation, was created to complete the upcoming merger, which is scheduled to be completed sometime in June based on my research. That's the plan, at least. Since I'm always looking for the next growth stock to add to my stock portfolio, I spent about 5 to 10 hours researching Nikola Motors. I've reviewed the investor relations page, which has a 27-page PDF file, including an investor roadshow presentation and video. After reviewing those items, I started to watch videos and listen to podcasts with the CEO, Trevor Milton, and his background in the electric vehicle industry and his goals moving forward as a zero-emission vehicle tech company. I'm only in the beginning of my research, which will probably take a few days and weeks to completely understand the business model and the path to profitability to compete with a company like Tesla, which has had a big head start in the industry already. Now that everyone is trying to buy the next Tesla stock around the initial IPO price, I wanted to break down my thoughts and opinions of what I like and don't like about Nikola Corporation. Just so you know, this is not investment advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This video is just for entertainment purposes. Always do your own research. So first, let's draw up a line and put what I like about Nikola on the left side and what I don't like on the right side. I'm not going to include a lot of visuals in this episode like I usually do in the previous episodes, so you may want to just listen like this is a podcast rather than watching the screen. And remember, I still have a ways to go with fully researching Nikola. Keep in mind, these are just my personal notes, opinions, and questions I'll be trying to answer for my bull or bear thesis on Nikola stock. Alright, so based on Nikola Motor Company's Twitter feed, Nikola Motor Company anticipates the merger of NKLA stock and VTIQ stock being completed in the first 2 weeks of June 2020. Very similar to what DraftKings did to avoid the IPO process. First thing I like is I believe electric vehicles are trending. So this is an industry I personally think has growth potential. What I don't like is Tesla's head start and the fact that there's only one Elon Musk in the world. Why not go with the best in class that has product rolling out on the streets each and every day compared to a funded startup tech company that's trying to get into the space? These questions lead me to thinking there is plenty of room for competition. Think Coke and Pepsi. Think Walmart and Costco. To logically think there will only be one company making electric cars and trucks is crazy in my opinion, especially thinking long term. People like different designs, especially when it comes to vehicles. Nikola posted up an Analyst Day 17-minute video including awesome video and photos of their futuristic truck design. And that brings me to a question. Is Nikola just a startup company that has a cool state-of-the-art facility with very cool-looking prototypes? Based on my research, I can see why a big brand like Anheuser-Busch placed an order for trucks to be added to their fleet. There's a cool factor when reading and watching Nikola's prototype trucks drive on the roads. There's hardly any sound compared to a normal diesel truck. If I'm a CEO of a well-run company on the S&P 500 with a balance sheet that has plenty of cash, I would definitely have interest in putting an order for these types of trucks, knowing cleaner energy is the future and I need to add more trucks to my fleet in the coming years. Think Amazon, Think Walmart, think Coca-Cola, think Pepsi. If the numbers make sense and I could get a couple of these trucks in the future, I'd be open to hearing what Nikola has to offer. If I have a fleet of trucks on the roadways as a private company or public company, I'd be open to reviewing my options and compare those options to what Tesla and anyone else looking to make a cost-effective, zero-emission solution to transporting goods with heavy-duty transportation needs. That brings me to an item I don't like. VTIQ and NKLA are so new that people are jumping and buying stock just because of the coolness factor. Don't get me wrong, this has a value, but calculating that value as an investment gets tricky, especially thinking long term. I expect traders to continue to trade VTIQ and NKLA over these next few weeks heading into the future. The whole idea of FOMO, or the fear of missing out on the next Tesla, is starting to trend, which will add to stock price volatility. There will be a ton of traders solely buying and selling stock on the volume, regardless of researching the fundamentals and financials of the company. And this brings me to a reason why I like VTIQ stock. There is a thing called word-of-mouth promotion, also known as hype stocks, and NKLA fits the bill. The next Tesla headlines will continue all over, which may cause the stock to be pumped up just on the hype principle alone. I know for the younger generation, there's a coolness factor of owning an electric vehicle and tech company like Tesla. Will Tesla fans join aboard the Nikola train, or will they fight in battle saying no one will compete with Tesla ever? What will this do to the stock price if big institutions start to go against Nikola's vision, just like they did with Tesla? And that leads me to another bearish point. Nikola is so new. Will the stock be able to hold up if the economy takes a turn for the worst, like a recession or depression? As an investor, do I want to be a part owner of a startup company with a vision versus a company that has a healthy balance sheet already meeting revenue goals? I still have a lot more research to do on Trevor Milton and Mark Russell, who are the leaders on the management team. Will the management team be able to create and develop a proven and efficient supply chain to take raw materials and turn them into the finished product for customers? Will those customers' expectations be met? Will issues arise with a delayed fulfillment process? For me, I like to see the progress of an assembly line compared to ideas on a piece of paper. To summarize, I do have interest in continuing my research in Nikola Corporation because I know there will be a lot of excitement leading up to June. I am still looking into the cost and efficiency of hydrogen as a fuel compared to gasoline. Luckily, Nikola is working on a battery-powered truck to go along with hydrogen-fueled trucks and hydrogen stations, which is their long-term vision. Looking at my stock portfolio, which is a little over $5,100 at the time of this recording, I think VTIQ stock is a bit too volatile for my risk tolerance, especially knowing I still need to do a lot more research in the coming days, weeks, and even months. If the stock continues to go up, this is fine with me because I do like all of the stocks in my portfolio, which are Fiverr International, Apple, Penn National Gaming, and Starbucks. There is a small amount of interest if the stock gets closer to the $10 stock price that valued the company at $3.3 billion based on reading the investor relations page. I would not be surprised if VTIQ stock continues to go up higher and higher, like we've seen with trendy stocks like Beyond Meat stock or Space Virgin Galactic Holdings SPCE stock. Trendiness is always difficult to value, especially not knowing how the overall market will perform in the next few months. All I know is that if the stock market starts to fall and crash for round two, I don't want to have a large amount of money tied down in a stock like VTIQ. I'd rather have more money tied in a company like Apple, which has a nice sized cash account, even though the upside may be perceived as limited compared to VTIQ. VTIQ is a high risk, high reward kind of stock in my opinion, especially with more and more people stumbling upon the name as the next big Tesla. I'll be reviewing my notes and I'll keep you updated if the things I like about Nikola outweigh the things I don't like. As I explained in earlier episodes, I am perfectly fine purchasing a stock based on a trend, and this may be one in the stock portfolio for the future. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. Do you like VTIQ stock, which will be NKLA stock or Nikola Corporation? Or do you think it's just a startup company that is wasting their time to compete with Tesla? Luckily, time will tell how everything plays out. If we get enough likes and views on this video, I may have to do a follow-up video after I do some more research. If there are any VTIQ investors, I wish you the best of luck. Get those big returns. You may have a lottery ticket in your hands, but that type of gambling strategy doesn't work for me and my goals and my risk tolerance unless I have research that backs up my bull thesis. Let's end it there. Play the music. As always, this episode is not intended as investment advice. Do your own research prior to making any investments. Read the disclaimer on your screen fully. Remember, all opinions in this episode are mine and mine alone. I'm not a financial advisor, and this video is for educational and informational purposes only. Maybe I didn't earn your subscription with this episode, but there's always next episode. It's free to subscribe, and my favorite comment from last episode is on your screen. Feel free to click on some of my earlier episodes. We're already up to episode 37. Thanks again for watching. Let's keep building from zero to infinity. Mr. Zero to Infinity told me to tell you, you got this.